Unauliza swali gani wewe? Unauliza swali gani?
Aswani, didi. Delta. Unataka kupigana na askari? Unapigana na askari?
Moja. Wewe ndani ya mzigo. Sasa zungu. Akabasha mataka pande hii. Waje kuniangalia bwana. Kuna haja hapa. Kuna jeto.
Watu wana nyumbani kwa nini?
Toka hapa dada. Toka hapa.
Ndio hiyo mtu.
Wewe, watu hapa nini? Toa simu, toa kwenda huko, toa. Akwambia toa simu. Unachukua tuna watu sahihi. Hebu njoo. Bwana. Kuna haja hapa. Hakuna jeto.
Watu wana nyumbani kwa nini?
Toka hapa dada. Toka hapa. Somo. Watu wanataka bila kukula kuliko na waishi. Yenyewe hakuna unatokea kuliko. Sasa unaenda wapi saa hii? Wewe unaenda wapi? Unapeleka kuliko bali yako hiyo. Unaenda wapi? Unaenda kulala kutoka umepita ngapi huko kutoka saa moja? Umepita petrol station ngapi huko kutoka saa moja?
Saa moja nilipata
mimi nilisoma ile kitu. Food stuffs for example.
food stuffs.
Wewe ni food stuff hapa wewe.
Sio.
Petrol station iko hapa sawa pale. Ingia gari wewe. Ingia gari.
Na unaangalia nyuma.
Unataka tunaangalia wewe sasa. Nenda lala pale hapa. Nenda. Ukiendelea kupali utakutana na kibunga zaidi. Hapa pale. Wewe unafikiria? Pale. Pamoja ikifika unafanya nini? Pamoja unafanya nini? Endelea.
Aswani, didi.
Amekula dawa asikii uchungu.
Unataka kupigana na askari?
Tafuta petrol station hapa ulale. Haraka sana. Tuende jioni. Hata mniangalia. Mbele. Tatu. Kabusho. Haya. Hata gari. Hata gari wewe pande.
Authorities were forced to extend the curfew by 1.5 hours following an evening of confusion and thousands of stranded commuters at the ferry. Police had lobbed tear gas at crowds and brutalized some, including an NTV journalist. We can now speak to our reporter in Mombasa, Francis Mtalaki. Francis, good evening.
Well, Lillian, for a couple of hours from 4:30 to around 6:30, this was a no-go zone, given that there were running battles between the police and thousands of ferry commuters who wanted to gain access to this area, given that they feel that by 5:30 or 6:30, when the ferry will not be operating, I feel that they will not be able to make it in terms of the deadline that was set by the government. But that has since been dealt with by the security apparatus here. And currently what we are seeing here is the security guards from the Kenya ferry who are still here working at night. And the last ferry, which is MV Harambe, has just left some few minutes ago. Telling a story maybe that the police have been able to manage and to cut that extension that was given by the regional police commander Rashid Yakub, an extension in terms of the curfew. And the picture you're seeing, that is the waiting bay for a number of ferry commuters. And currently there's no one here, but we've been able also to move around the Mombasa CBD. It is deserted. Most of the residents have been able to leave the CBD early enough. And what we can be able to say right currently, apart from the chaotic scenes that we were able to witness earlier today, where police were forced to lob tear gas to some of the ferry users who wanted to gain access earlier today. And what we're able to see currently that the curfew has begun in Mombasa, and possibly will be moving to other areas to see what exactly is happening. But from most of the areas within the CBD, we can be able to say that residents are heeding to that call, and you cannot be able to spot any of the residents moving around the CBD. And here at the ferry, the operations have also stopped in terms of the Likoni channel, and all the thousands that who are still waiting have been able to have managed to cross to the other side. And so we expect to see what happens tomorrow in terms of the commuters who have been able to wait for quite a long period of time in terms of making sure they are able to cross to the other side.
Right, and Francis, just to cut you short, looking at the pictures, just going back to some of the images we've seen there, we've seen some people lying down in muddy waters. They appear to have fallen, and indeed, even from the images that we're seeing on our screens, a lot of pandemonium, people running up and down. But just going back to those people, and indeed even that lady right now on our screens that is on the floor, what exactly was happening there?
Come again, Lillian.
The state of affairs in terms of the pandemonium, people falling, people running all over the place, others falling down. Even in that particular picture where we saw somebody or some persons who appeared to have fallen in muddy waters. What was happening there? Right there, that's what we're seeing on our images right now. People falling, people sitting down. What exactly was happening at that point?
Well, those are the chaotic things that we witnessed earlier at around 5:30, given that the police who were manning to the other side of the Collin Channel, and most of the commuters had to wait for quite a long period of time, and so many felt that they were really agitated in terms of the time that they used to stay so that they can be able to board a ferry to cross to the other side, given that the numbers in terms of those who are boarding the ferry were reduced significantly. There were about 300 to 500 commuters who are allowed to board a ferry to cross to the other side. And so many feel that then with the coming of the curfew, then they will not be able to make it in time to be able to cross the ferry. And so that is why we be able to see those kind of pictures. And the police boss Rashid Yakub has also said that an action will be taken to those officers maybe who did contrary to the law, but saying that they will conduct investigation as to what happened and what transpired in terms of the chaotic scenes that we were able to see here in Mombasa earlier in the day.
Okay, that is Francis Mtalaki just updating us on the state of affairs in Mombasa County. Like we earlier mentioned, authorities were forced to extend the curfew of 7 p.m. by 1.5 hours, which means 8:30 p.m. following an event of an evening of confusion and thousands of stranded commuters at the ferry. That is the latest from Mombasa County.